Hello and welcome to PlayStation Access, where very excitingly I am joined by Pawel Sasko, who is a lead quest designer on none other than Cyberpunk 2077. I'm so excited to have you here.
Oh yes, thank you. I'm really glad to talk to you.
Now, I have just seen this year's demo. So I've just had a little look at what's going to be the kind of updated version of Cyberpunk that we're getting to know this year, and it was absolutely fantastic. But the first thing I've got to talk about, obviously, is how long did you guys know about Keanu Reeves?
Oh God. Okay. Well, I was sure that question will appear eventually.
You know.
So I can tell you some funny stories about it. So actually, we've been working on that deal long time. It's like, I think the first talk started maybe a year ago almost.
Oh wow.
And we kept it secret from the press.
I can't believe that
for
you
a
did.
year. Yeah. So thing is that Keanu had a nickname that we were calling him in the materials, because we had to have it like somewhere, in emails and so on, and that could be leaked, right? So we were calling him Mr. Fusion. So he was called Mr. Fusion, and he is playing a Johnny Silverhand, right? A leader of a samurai band, like a chrome rock band from 2020.
Yeah.
And thing is that we went so down in the conspiracy, with the nicknames that I think everybody just got confused. Okay. Apparently this Mr. Fusion has something to do with the game, because everybody was calling him like that, just to make sure that it doesn't slip out anywhere. Thank God it didn't, because it's just,
I'm so impressed that it didn't leak. It was absolutely fantastic. But yeah, I had to start there. But I'm going to move on to the actual gameplay.
Sure.
So one of the things I loved today was the life paths.
Oh.
So tell me a little bit more about those and how they're going to affect your journey through the game.
Oh wow, okay, that's an awesome question. So thing is, with The Witcher 3 we did the branching storylines in open world, right? In this game we wanted to do branching storylines in open world and add the branching gameplay to this. So basically what it is our fluid class system allows the player to pick skills from different trees, and you can be any merge you want, any gender you want, you can be dressed any way you like, really, and then your character plays out and you pick the way you want to play throughout those levels. And you have seen in the demo, right, the way, we have, of course, there was like a technical magic on our side to just show you guys,
Yes.
if you switch the build, what happens, and you saw that there's like different ways to play it, right? Because as a netrunner, you have different skills, like you hack people, you make their grenades explode, shoot them in the head.
That was great.
Yeah, exactly. But as a techie, for instance, and this is something that we didn't show, like you install Raven cyberware and you actually steer the flathead, the flathead, the spider bot from the previous demo that we have shown, the one that you bought from the Maelstrom.
Yeah.
So that's exactly the one that you're using, to play style with this one, and you issue the commands to the flathead and he does stuff, right? And also you can be a strong solo or a fast solo. So you can, you can be kind of like a ninja type of character, who flies around with like Mantis blades or monokatana and like slashes people, or you can have like let's say a monowire, right? And just chop the heads off, like you probably saw.
I mean, that was, as soon as they brought out that wire, I was like, what is this? I'm very interested.
Yeah, I hope that viewers from that are slightly older will recognize it from Johnny Mnemonic, right? Because that was the weapon he was using,
exactly.
And he was played by Keanu Reeves, so it was a small in that movie.
I love that. Well, I mean, that's the thing that I love about this, is that there are so many kind of little touches that make things really different. So I love that we saw a very stealthy character, and then we saw my favourite, which was the character that just came in, kind of blowing stuff up and
just
taking
mow
over
everything
turrets. So, another characteristic that we did see was cool. So, I mean, that's unusual. It's something from the original kind of tabletop game. So how does that affect things? Because I saw in the skill tree that you could choose kind of 3 different cool areas.
Yeah, exactly. So this game is a full-fledged RPG, and what it is, it basically means you have stats, that influence your character. Now, cool is one of the stats that are, from the base game that we have kept because we liked it, and it basically influences the gameplay. So basically, more points you put there, it actually makes your character more accurate. So the cool is responsible for keeping your cool, basically. So if you're how contained you are at the given moment, how well you can aim. So that influences, the way your crosser is acting, what you are actually doing as a player with the guns, and that gives you a bit more accuracy. And there are a few other ways that we've been thinking of to utilize cool more, but I'll keep that for now.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure.
Fine. So I also wanted to ask about quests, since
Oh,
you're the
yeah.
lead quest designer. Now, one of the things I read is that you are looking to make quests not so obvious when it's a main quest or when it's a side quest. So they're all meant to feel as important. So how do you do that?
Oh, wow. I mean, the most important thing I think is just the quality, right? So as I go through the world and I find like content that's like a small thing, like somebody's troubled, like in the previous demo we have shown this like a guy who's a homeless dude who was digging in the trash. He was called Stefan, and he was trying to sell you like a braindance recording. That's a piece of a small quest that you can play in the game. And thing is, it's just like when you look at it, you're like, wait, is it part of the main quest that I'm playing, or is it like some side story? Or you start doing it, and it may loop back to the main story, but you don't know. And it's just like, I always want to do it in a way that everything you touch, it just looks like there was like a human that like handcrafted this, so that you feel like rewarded for your time. So as a player, I invested time in the game, and it's just like awesome quality things that are coming out, that they see on the screen. And it's just like, no matter if it's a main quest, side quest, minor quest, if it's like a street story that you're doing, everything just has our level of quality. So you cannot really recognize, okay, yeah, this quest was made with like way smaller budget or something. We had to, cut corners or something. No, it actually looks good, no matter how small it is or how big it is. And this is like a key thing. Other thing is we try to confuse players, So what we are doing is like basically the quest, when you are playing it, it branches out. And the branch like becomes, okay, that's a separate quest suddenly, and there's another branch becomes another quest, and you follow those, and they branch out, and you don't know where it leads you to. Like, it can go back to the main storyline, but you don't know at this point. Because we want it to feel real and invested. Because as a player, when you're like following up those storylines and everything you do, it actually gives you like something meaningful. The immersion is still there. Like, there's not a moment when you get in and there's like some low quality stuff, that's like, oh Jesus, like a filler, I don't want to play this. You feel rewarded for every element you're doing, right?
So let's also talk cybernetics, because we saw some pretty cool like robotic arms in this.
Oh, yeah. Gorilla, they're called gorilla
my God.
arms. Yeah.
They were brilliant. So are they going to be kind of not necessarily restricted, but more useful if you're a certain class? Like if would they not be as useful for you if you were going to be a stealth character, or can you adapt how you use your cybernetics?
So as a player, I can visit in the game Ripper Dogs, and Ripper Dogs are the guys who are used to. They are basically the guys that replace your limbs, and install you all kinds of weird cyberware. Now, gorilla arms are just one of the examples. They just allow you to open and lift heavy things. And if you are at the given threshold, the skill, and your character is built in a given way, you can actually install, cyberware of a given type, and that gives you something. Like gorilla hands, for instance, as we talked, you lift heavy stuff, you open the doors that are otherwise closed. But you can also have like, I don't know, legs, right? That gives you hoover jump or like double jump, right? And you can have mantis blades that give you like, I don't know, you can hook to walls, right? And attack enemies from above. You can you can use them as you saw the nanowire, right? To slash enemies. And there's like various things. There's like literally a cannon that you can install in your hand, right?
Thank you. I needed to know about that.
And obviously. So you can do various things with this cyberware to just build your character. Like, and that side, this is of course like there are skills required to do so, but it's like like yet another layer of like how to customize my own character. What I want to have, right?
And I'm also very interested in the districts that we heard about.
Oh.
So obviously we saw Pacifica, and I like the idea that they've all got kind of their own personality. So what's it been like kind of creating somewhere so expansive, particularly when you're known for your world, and creating these districts with personality that are clearly going to, treat you differently depending on the actions that you've made in the game?
So in the game we have 6 different districts, and those districts are absolutely completely distinct. Like, we have worked on like tirelessly to like nail down the art. So for instance, like if you're in a city center, this is a place where it has been blasted out by this nuke that Mike Pondsmith, because Mike Pondsmith blew up part of a night city in the original books. So that part has been rebuilt, and then there is a corporate plaza, and you see just gigantic, like huge skyscrapers that are like, they're like sculptures, created, for a greatness of the corporation, sort of. And this place is completely different. You have like a corporate guards, like people from corporate corporations, with enhanced like a really expensive cyberware on them. But then you have like really badly looking, like Watson, for instance, that we have shown in a previous demo, or Pacifica, right? That has been like sort of abandoned at the moment because there was supposed to be like a recreational district that has been built. But then when the corporate war emerged, the corporations like withdrawn all the funds from there, and all the people that were left there, Haitians, the Creole community, they were left there with nothing, and they just started living in those like half-built buildings, in poverty, right, in the pretty much slums, and they started living there and created their own community in ways of living and coping with that. And we always try to make sure that there's like an interesting story regarding the given district, right, so that we can wrap out all the art around it, all the small stories, all the chats, that you hear about it, like all the appearances of people there, because you can see like pregnant women looking really bad, like by like small like fireplaces burning somewhere on the street, but then you can see this like high class corpos, with extreme cyberware, like super high class AVs, the flying vehicles and so on. So you see this gigantic difference, and this gives this makes the game like feel rich. I think it's just like when you drive from the district, like from one to another, you can see all those colors.
And so let's talk Traversal, because we did see a very cool motorbike as well. And also it was mentioned that there aren't going to be kind of loading screens, and it's just this seamless experience. So is it just that you have to explore, you have to kind of get yourself from point to point and actually take that journey?
I mean, we have also a fully functioning fast travel system. So obviously, as a player, you're not forced, to drive around if you don't want to. But to be honest, it's so cool that I'm pretty sure players will want to drive. It's an amazing feeling actually to drive the streets of Night City. And each of the cars and motorcycles, they have like different radio stations, and they have different types of music. And I don't want to disclose more, but we put so much work into actual music. It's one of the super important pillars in our game, and you can listen to specific tracks in the game, and they're really fantastic. So it feels great to drive like your awesome car. Like we shown that you can have Quadra, but there are also other types of cars. So you can have different bicycles, different cars you can own, and just driving through the streets of Night City just feels amazing.
So is this game going to be replayable? Because obviously all games are replayable, but this one feels like when you get to the end, you're not going to have seen everything, particularly because of these life paths and the choices that you can make. So is this something that we're going to come back to if we really want to uncover the full story of Night City and the people that live there?
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely impossible to just play the game once and see everything. Like, it's impossible, because your life path basically means that you are seeing some other things, some things that are specific for you, but you're not seeing things, let's say, for Nomad or for Street Kid if you're a corpo, right? And that's one thing. But second thing, your skill choices, right? If you are picking certain skills, abilities, certain cyberware, where actually our dialogue system and our scene system, it's actually checking that. You could probably see it in the demo where you could like ask specific questions and like because of the knowledge you possess. Like if you have a background that doesn't give you that, or if you have a build that doesn't give you that, you're unable to see it. You cannot play this part. You have something that is specific for you, and this is a part that you can see, but you have to replay the game. And also, the Grand Imperial Mall, it's like an ant hill. You can play in so many different ways. So it's pretty much impossible to just have the same experience, right? So I hope the replay will be big. I mean, there are people like I remember from the Witcher 3 times that were like tweeting to me that they're like values from the playtime, and were like numbers like 987 hours of playtime. Like, yeah, that's decent. I think that's he probably saw some stuff.
Yeah. About 10% in.
Yeah, he probably so. So I feel with this game it's gonna be even more.
Oh, I can't wait. Well, thank you so much. I have to say, love the demo. It was thrilling to watch. It's making me so impatient, but thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you. It's really nice to hear that you guys liked it. It means a lot. It means really a lot to us. Like, we have thrills when we see journalists getting into the cinema and just talking to us about it. It really means a lot, because we're just working so much on this. Just make sure you guys will like it, enjoy it, and it's amazing. And I think that the team will love to hear that.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I did. I barely got to ask anything I wanted. There's so much that we saw today. But obviously, subscribe to the channel if you want more channels about everything coming up in Cyberpunk 2077. And make sure you've hit that notification bell to stay up to date with everything from the world of PlayStation.
For the players.